Hey there, Aries. How's it going? Hope everything's going good with you and yours. We're looking at your week of April 4th, 2022. Your reading, we're going to be looking at past, present, future, clarifying all that, and tying everything off with an outcome card at the end. So hopefully you'll want to stick around for all that. So without further ado, let's get into this, see what we got going on for you, for your past, your present, and your future here. Interesting. Oh, that's a lot. It's a lot of cards. Too many cards popping out there. Apparently, the deck's talkative today. So, let's see what we got here. All right. So, your thing to keep in mind this week is Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords talks about being very honest and open with people, as well as you can see here with her. And actually, we have the Queen of Cups down here as well. With the Queen of Swords, you can see she has like the clouds below her head, and she's the first of the court cards that do. You can actually see here you have actually both the Page of Swords and the Knight of Swords in your reading too, and they both have clouds still around their heads, meaning they don't have clarity about something. Like they don't really see things the way they are, right? They're kind of, maybe they don't have all the facts, or maybe they just don't really see things necessarily, don't have all the information they need, that kind of idea, or they just kind of like something's kind of obscuring the truth from them here. So that's something to keep in mind here. We also have the Queen of Cups underneath of that too, and the Queen of Cups is also quite well to do when it comes to like your emotions, really like developing them, making sure you're expressing them in a healthy way, as well as expressing them with others and kind of knowing how others are doing, being very empathetic and intuitive here, which is really interesting because we have the Empress, which makes the Empress is made up of all four queens in the deck. So that's interesting that we have that as kind of like your forewarning, and we have the Empress as well later on here. But we'll keep that in mind. We got here in your past, we got the Page of Swords, the Two of Swords, and the Six of Wands here. I feel like you're kind of trying to gain some information about a decision you need to make. And it's something about like how you're going to align yourself here. I feel like in your past, you're really kind of contemplating something, trying to gain as much information as you can. The Pages are information gatherers, unlike the Knights, who you have in your present, who are more of an action taker. So that really makes sense where we're talking about something in your past. So I feel like you've been trying to gain a lot of information about something, really trying to figure something out here. Recently, with the Two of Swords, it's some sort of a decision, because we actually have the Two of Cups here in your present as well, which we'll get into. But twos represent decisions in tarot. They represent choices that need to be made, some sort of a decision that you're kind of contemplating or mulling over, especially when swords are concerned, and we have two swords in your past. It's really something you've been thinking about a lot. You've been trying to figure out what is the best course of action here. And with the Six of Wands, I feel like it's something that you really need to line up here. Like it's something like the Six of Wands talks about walking the walk and talking the talk, right? About having that alignment of like, I'm saying something and then I'm backing it up, or I'm saying something and then I'm doing that, right? Like I'm not sort of being like, oh yeah, like I exercise all the time, right? Like that's how I stay fit, but then you don't exercise, right? Or you say, well, I'll get around to it or whatever, or you keep putting things off, that kind of thing. Whereas the Six of Wands just tells us that like you're actually trying to line it up. So I feel like you're trying to get alignment on something here. I have some suspicions as to what that could be here, as we are looking at the future here, but we'll get some clarifiers here, see what we got for you, see if we can get a little more detail before we move on to your current energy and see what's happening. All right, what do we have for you? We've got the Ace of Cups, the Three of Swords, and the Five of Swords. So again, more swords, more of like your mind, more of your thoughts here. With those two sword cards, again, like your past is a lot of thoughts, a lot of, heavy, like kind of like, what do I do kind of energy here. It feels almost, again, we got those kind of clouds we were talking about with these two kind of not knowing all the information. With the Ace of Cups here as well, I feel like this is definitely something that it's bringing a lot of negative emotion, I feel, with the Three of Swords and the Five of Swords. It's kind of like it's kind of heavy, right? Because because the Five of Swords talks about being in unfair situations, talks about kind of being overwhelmed, talks about kind of being offered the bare minimum here, like maybe even just leaving a situation because it's so bitter. And the Three of Swords talks about removing something that no longer serves you. So I feel like you've been really mulling over something that's like been quite difficult and kind of putting you in a rough spot here recently, which is interesting. And I say that's really interesting because we have the Knight of Swords, the Two of Cups, and the Three of Wands here in your current energy. Because now we've gone from gathering information to taking action with that Knight of Swords here. Then the Knight of Swords, again, it's to do with your mind. Again, I feel like it's something you've been mulling over here. We got Spike joining us in the reading here. But the Knight of Swords is someone who does want to take action. They're a little bit impulsive, so maybe you're dealing with some of that now. Like, you really just want to take action. You kind of want to resolve this one way or another. I feel like it's something to do with your romantic life with this Two of Cups. Again, twos representing decisions. And I feel like maybe you've been mulling over whether you want to be in this relationship anymore or not, right? I feel really like this is it's kind of with this Three of Wands energy too. It kind of feels like you're kind of waiting for it to resolve on its own, but it's just like it's not happening. It just kind of feels like, it's just taking its sweet time. Like you're kind of just waiting here on the coast, waiting for these ships to come in. And every time you think, oh, this will probably be the thing that resolves it, and it just doesn't, because it's not your ship, it's somebody else's. And again, I feel like it's something to do with love here, because the Two of Cups represents kind of a soulmate connection, can represent somebody in your life like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be romantic here, though I am getting the Two of Cups generally represents a soulmate that way, but it could be someone in your life as well who is, someone who is like a person you have a significant connection with, like someone who you feel that kind of like pull with, someone like a best friend type of person or someone like that in your life here. Again, doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic. Could be you're dealing with a Gemini, an Aquarius, or a Libra here, one of the air signs with this Knight of Swords and that Page of Swords. And there's just so many swords in your reading. It's like, I definitely feel like for a lot of you, it's probably an air sign. Doesn't necessarily have to be that. It's a general reading here. So, and with that Queen of Swords too, right? Like, could be one of them. Could be one of those three. Could be a water sign too, with the Queen of Swords or the Queen of Cups down there as well, which would be Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio. But we'll clarify this up a little bit here. See what we got going on. See if we can get a little more detail on this. Because I feel like still you want to take action, but something's holding you back. Like it just feels like something's like keeping you from doing it. Like it almost feels like you're like, I want to take action, but I feel like it will kind of figure itself out. We got the Emperor here. That's your card, Aries. So that's interesting. All right, we got the Queen of Cups again. Again, it could be that water sign, and the Magician. You're trying to manifest a conclusion of some sort here with that Magician, right? You're trying to pull something down from the ether down to the ground, like in spirit, like, please help me. I need a solution here, trying to manifest that way. I feel like you're not being idle. Again, with that Knight of Swords, you want to take action. With the Emperor and the Queen of Cups here, again, I feel like you're stronger than you think with that Emperor card. It feels like you can overcome this. It may not feel that way, like, because you're looking at the Queen of Cups here, and the Queen of Cups is more that emotional strength. With that repeating too, whereas we had her down here, I think that's a really strong sign. It's like you're emotionally tough enough to overcome this. You're emotionally tough enough to do this. You're strong enough in general because your card, the Emperor, is here. Means you're bossing up. Means you got to be ready for anything. You got to take responsibility and be mature about this too. If this is a relationship where things aren't working out for one reason or another, and you want to try and salvage it. Like, it seems like you want to salvage it. Seems like you want to take action for that. Then you gotta, have a talk with this person. You gotta talk about whatever, is bothering you with what's going on here. If there is some troubles one way or another, you gotta be open. You gotta be mature, like the Emperor. We got the Queens popping up here all over the place too. Also maturity here, but where you're especially coming in strong, it's like you gotta be strong now to overcome this. I feel, and I feel like you're emotionally stronger than you think. Like, you might feel like, oh, I can't do this. I can't go through with it. Especially if it's something where you feel like if they're not willing to listen, or they're not willing to change, or they're at least not willing to meet you halfway, you're like, oh, well, I'll just stay with them anyway. No, you are strong enough to overcome this and be like, no, I want to leave. I want to move on here. So interesting. All right. With your future cards, we got the Sad Squirrel, we got the Empress, and we have the Hanged Man here. The Sad Squirrel, I feel like, is kind of the person you're dealing with here. I feel like this is kind of it feels like almost as if this is going to be the person you've been dealing with, as well as yourself in the future, if you decide not to take action, right? We got the Emperor and the Empress here. And the Emperor and the Empress are divine counterparts, as all the King and Queen pairings are divine counterparts with one another. So I feel like you're finding your person, whether this is the person you currently are with, and they're going to kind of go from this kind of sad squirrel energy into like the Emperor Empress energy, and you're going to be like, oh great, we salvaged this. Or it's going to be a situation where you're going to be leaving that sad squirrel behind to go find your Empress, or go find your Emperor, right? You're going to go find the person you want. I feel like you're not going to be served by sticking around here, because you can see with the sad squirrel, that same tree in the Hanged Man is here, and it's almost to say that this person is going to make you hang around and stagnate and be sad with them. Like the Sad Squirrel talks about how this person kind of can be like, maybe you have a jealous partner, someone who's very kind of like controlling and possessive, right? They're very much like, I don't want you to do things. I don't like how this person was looking at you, and that kind of stuff. You can see they both have kind of a similar tree here that's kind of like, they're basically holding you here, hanging you around, and you're like not able to move on. You're kind of just stuck with this person who's kind of in a negative mindset all the time. I feel like you need to move on for sure, because I feel like you need to move on if this person isn't willing to at least try and put the effort in, and if they put the effort in and ultimately it doesn't work out, then that's fine. You can move on. You can move on and be like, well, at least I put my best foot forward. But I feel like if this person's not willing to even try to meet you halfway, it's like, well, you're just going to be staying like this, and you're going to be holding me back too if you're not willing to help me out here, right? If you're not willing to at least meet me halfway. So let's clarify this. Get some clarifiers going for your outcome, or your future cards here, sorry. And then we'll tie everything off with an oracle message for you, Aries. But looking strong. I feel like you're stronger than you think. I feel like that's a big key for this. We got the Empress again. Look at that. Beautiful. Got the Six of Wands again. Look at that. And the Ace of Wands. Yeah, there's definitely a brilliant new beginning here for you, one way or another. The Ace of Wands is the thumbs up card. It's saying go for it. Like, just go for it. Talk it out with them. If it doesn't work, if you can tell they're not going to change, or they're actively saying like, I'm not gonna, or I'm not going to even try and like compromise, get out of there. Start something new with someone beautiful. With that Empress, like, the Empress is telling us to have that abundance mindset, right? You can look at it as the way I would look at it myself, which is that this person may not be the person for me, but there's lots of other people out there that could be, right? Like, this doesn't have to like define me. This doesn't have to be like, oh, they could have been the one if they had to just change. It's like, that's a negative mindset. That's a scarcity, by saying like they were the one. That was the only person that could have ever fulfilled that need with me in my life. Looking at an abundance mindset of like, this person may not have worked out for me, but somebody else could. Like, somebody else out there could be my person. Rejection is redirection, right? Again, with that Six of Wands, you got to line things up. Again, remember, we had that in your past energy. You want that alignment. You want things to be happy and healthy in your life. You want to be, backing up what you're saying, backing up what you're thinking, backing up what you want, and you want to start up something new and beautiful, whether this person changes or not. So that's looking real good. That's looking real good, Aries. I'm liking that a lot. Again, I think you're stronger than you think. I think that's the big takeaway here. We're about to watch a really fat cat jump up onto this table, I think, here in just a few seconds. So before we do that, thank you for being here. Hope this has been resonating. Hope this has been helping you out. If it is, hey, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and you can also leave a comment. Let me know. Always love to hear all that stuff. And there's Journey. And we have the round and round. He's round. We got the round and round card here, number 25. Let's take a look. See what we got here for you. All right. Oh, big boy. Having a seat. All right. All right. Here we go. Round and round. The appearance of this card is a reminder that although it may appear that you've gone backward, the truth is you're standing at a higher level looking down into your circumstances. You will learn something to do something better. You will learn something, do something better, and break a cycle set up in the past. You actually have a bird's eye view of your initial footprints and can access the wisdom of lessons learned. Jeez Louise, I'm tongue-tied this morning. But yeah, that's just saying, like, look, we're kind of going round and round here with this person. But right now, like, you have this kind of bird's eye view. And we were kind of talking about that a bit with the Queen and, like, all these swords we've been having, where the Queen has the clarity, right? You have the clarity now to see, like either this person will change and, you know, things will move on in a more positive direction, or they won't, right? Like, this is a lesson to be learned, something to be kind of thought about here in the future, and take that with you into the future, because either this person is going to, like I say, either this person is going to change or try to commit or try to make things work with you, or they're not. And that's going to be all you need to know. Like, that's going to be a lesson learned. Okay, well, they didn't want to change. I'm going to move on. I'm going to find someone who does want to change, someone who wants to be a happy squirrel, not a sad squirrel, you know, someone that doesn't want to be possessive or controlling, and someone that wants me to be, you know, myself, wants me to be free, wants me to kind of look at things in a happy and healthy perspective. So I hope that helped you out, Aries. Hope that resonated with you. Want to help out the channel, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, check out your Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus sign videos after this one. Get a full scope of what might be coming for you in the week ahead, and I will see you next time.